to another episode of Business is Pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining us again for another episode. My name, of course, is John L. Francis. I'm with my lover, my wifey for lifey, / business partner, Colette. If you guys have not already, please subscribe and like this video so we know that you care. So please go and share. Colette, one of the things that I enjoy the most is communicating with you, understanding how you're doing, where you are, emotionally, physically, and most importantly, business-wise. How was your week, babe? How are you doing?
I think we had a fantastic week.
Yep.
We had a very, very exciting week. The beginning of my week was a little bit hectic because we were preparing for our event in Montreal, SneakerCon. And I was just making sure that everything was like organized properly, you know, going to all of our wholesalers to make sure that we had enough stuff, enough clothing, just making sure the logistics for the event were all set up. Yeah, just running around, but it all paid off because we had a fantastic event.
Amazing.
Fantastic. We met lots of new people. We sold lots of stuff, which is obviously the point. Yeah, it was just a great weekend.
It was nice, man. I think also too because we've been doing events back to back now, is that we're like almost hitting this groove where we understand what we have to do.
Yeah.
And it's more so like automatic for us, right? It's like right away you think, okay, John, I gotta go to one wholesaler on Monday. We gotta talk to our supplier for the Off-White. We also gotta go to our other wholesaler as well too, right? So it's nice how we're just like combining everything so smoothly and efficiently.
We're like doing a little tango.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about moving and grooving, you know? So like for us, I think it's nice that we're finally getting like a good systematic approach when it comes to our sales and doing things like that, right?
Yeah.
So like one of the major things that I think that I really want to talk about this week, where's the stuff? Oh, it's right here. Oh, I'm blind, my bad. Was just that like how we've been able to like be definitive in the events that we do choose to go to. Because before, when we first started out this business, we were all over the place. Remember the Bendele Bonanza?
So we did this event. Okay? It was called Bendele Extravaganza.
Yeah, Extravaganza.
Bendele Extravaganza. So I guess it was supposed to be kind of like a fun fair type of thing where like moms and dads would bring their kids. It was on like a weekend, so they bring their kids that went to the school to have like this like fun fair event, and like we were hoping, we were hoping that they'd buy a bunch of stuff, whatever. And like this event made sense to us at the time because we were going off of the mindset that our demographic was moms. Yeah. Moms wanting like affordable clothing for their kids.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like literally our like mindset. So we catered towards like moms. Overall, we set up. I think we sold one thing.
F that.
No, we did. We sold one, the polo crew neck.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The white one.
Yeah. We sold one thing, and the whole time we're there like getting at this lady.
Like, look at all her stupid stuff.
Across the
I'm not trying to buy your stupid stuff.
She has like old toys, like the oldest toys that like nobody wants anymore.
Yo.
Just like laid on the floor, like not even like on a blanket, like just like on the ground, like whatever. She was just sitting there, and like people come by, she'd be like, yeah, $10, $5, whatever. By the end of the day,
cashed out.
Not one toy left.
Cashed out.
No.
We're like, maybe we should go to the toy business. Like, try to change up our plan.
We're sitting there packing away every single piece that we brought.
Every piece of clothing. It was just. But as much as it was like so demoralizing at that time, I think it was good for us to experience those things so we could realize like, no, we cannot like continue going to these types of events.
And this isn't our demographic.
No,
like the moms don't care about our stuff.
Not at all.
They don't want our stuff.
So that's why it's nice when we go to a place like SneakerCon, when we go to Vintage Depot, or when we go to the Toronto or Auto Vintage Clothing Show. It's nice because we understand our clientele and our demographic, and we're actually able to bring value to them. We know what they want. We know what they're looking for and everything, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really, really nice, you know what I mean?
And one of the things that we were just talking about is one of the best ways, or one of the only ways that you can really make money or increase your wealth is by bringing value to someone else. If you can bring value to someone else by either providing them with like a product or service that they're looking for that makes their life a little bit easier, or just stuff that they really like or enjoy, like Off-White or vintage Tommy Hilfiger, vintage Adidas, Nike, whatever it might be, you're creating value for them, you're providing a need of some sort for something that they're looking for, and then that in turn gives you more wealth. So like, I think that's always the focus for us, and it's just become all the more clearer now that we've actually tapped into our correct demographic with these events, because we're seeing that turnover right in front of our eyes. We're seeing that, like, oh, like, this is what I want, okay, pay for it, okay, thanks, bye.
Like you know what I mean?
It's a simple process.
And it's nice too, right? Because like now we're starting to realize the potential of how much money we can make.
Yeah.
But even within saying that, right, what price points do you like selling at, so we can get like an ideal profit from things that we do sell?
For myself personally, like, I believe that, you know, we all work hard for our money, you know what I mean? Like, we all either do something that we love or something that we hate to like support ourselves and like get a little bit of like extra money on the side, whatever it may be, right? So like myself personally, like, I don't feel comfortable like overpricing things just because like I want to make a higher profit margin, because I know at the end of the day that person is either one, not gonna buy that product, or two, they're gonna feel like they got cheated out of, like, you know what I mean? Like, they bought a windbreaker from us for say like $50 and they saw the same windbreaker from someone else for like 25.
You know what I mean?
So like I never want people to leave away like with a bad taste in their mouth. So for me, like, I would rather not like diminish the market value, but just price conservatively within the market, even maybe like $5 less than like what the market is saying, just so that I can make sure that I'm in some way giving them some sense of value.
And I think that really speaks a lot of volume in regards to our actual mission statement. That's what we always wanted within this company. I think initially we were unsure what type of products we should be providing.
Yeah.
We've been able to figure out the products, but one thing that hasn't changed is the pricing at modest price points. Because
Exactly.
it sucks for us to be like, yeah, we're gonna sell this for that much. We're gonna sell that for this much. But then we have the potential to lose a customer. They don't see the value and like always coming back to us.
Yeah.
If we're essentially just like building holes in their wallets. You know what I mean?
And that's not the point. And like the point is to, you know, provide people with something that they actually want at an affordable price, no matter what.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I know.
And we still make a decent profit.
And we still make a profit.
Yeah.
And I know.
This isn't a charity.
No,
it's not a charity.
Sorry. And I know that if I price something a little bit lower, one, it's going to sell faster, and two, they're more likely to buy 2, 3, 4 of that item as opposed to just one because it's priced so overpriced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think with me, like, I forget where I heard this, and I may be incorrect, so don't quote me, is that with any business, the minimum amount you always want to make is 10%.
Yeah.
10%, you know what I mean? So with my mindset, I try to like think about, okay, how can we at least make like 20 to 50% on whatever we get, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we've been able to even really even like surpass our own standards of like those profit margins. And it's good too, right? We're still able to be successful at running this business while bringing value to people.
Yeah.
So in all, it's just like we're going in the right direction.
And I think like I'm sure we've talked about this in previous podcasts, but I think we're really focused on like cutting down our bottom line so that we can provide a good product at a reasonable price to the people that like our stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, we're not just gonna be like, oh, like, it costs this much to ship, so we're gonna jack up our prices like this much because we still want to make this same amount of a profit margin. We're like, okay, how can we figure out a way to get cheaper shipping? You know, especially for those international buyers, people from like the UK and like other parts of Europe and stuff like that like our stuff, but to ship there through other means, like say Canada Post, for example, it's like double the price. Whereas now we found a different avenue to ship through that's like
so much
better.
better. And I think that's what's so important about business and remaining adaptable is that we're figuring out like, hey, like this way, the way that we're doing things isn't the most sustainable. So how can we cut some of these costs? One, to help us, then in return help our customer.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really important is that if you're not constantly maneuvering around the business, figuring ways to cut costs, figuring ways to find new products, figuring ways to help your customer, it's very likely your business is going to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like, I feel like for me, at least like personally, like when I feel as if like I'm helping someone, even if it's just like, you know, getting them like a jacket or a shirt that they really like, when I feel like I'm helping someone, like that's empowering to me, and like that pushes me forward, that pushes me and propels me to continue doing what we're doing and to continue striving to be better, because like as small as it may be, like I'm putting a smile on their face and like that makes me happy.
And it's crazy too, because like when you think about it, essentially what you're saying is like you're only strong as your community.
You
And if
are.
we're going to diminish our community and force them to pay like these ridiculous prices, we won't have a community.
No.
which we can't help people, in which we can't help ourselves.
No.
So it's nice that we lead with the ideas like, okay, like, how can we, yes, like, provide for ourselves, but bring value again to other people.
Of course. And
I feel like I'm oversaturating that word today, right?
And we are. But at the end of the day, and also too, we're speaking from like our own perspective and like our own business strategy and model. So for like some people in the vintage community, they may want to like jack up their prices for whatever reason, and if that works for them, cool. But like for us personally,
we understand like
this is how we wanted to go about things. And this is how we're gonna do it.
Exactly, and we've been able to do that for the best, for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
I think even aside from like profit margins and everything, one thing we've always been focused on is like spreading the risk. So we have numerous apps that we work on and everything. But I think one issue is that's like, I'm happy that we've been able to have multiple apps to sell from.
Yeah.
Is that now we're having issues with Facebook all of a sudden.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think what's like, what initiated that was their whole data scandal that happened. So they're cutting back on a lot of things.
But so, we're not spam Facebook. Like, please.
So in our previous podcast, I'm sure you guys have heard that one way that we sell a lot of clothing is actually through apps. So apps like Let Go, Grail, Bump, Kijiji, Instagram. And one of the top ranking apps for us has been Facebook. We get a bunch of sales from there because we interact with different pages and different groups. And maybe for the last like 2-3 weeks now, we haven't been able to sell anything on Facebook.
Yeah.
When we took a look at the insights, one person,
and that's
us. We're the one person looking at the product.
We're the one person.
You know, so what we figured out what's going on. Facebook, I think, sent you a message saying like, "Oh, this is considered spam.
Yeah.
You're not able to post in those groups anymore."
But like, it's weird because we're still a part of the groups, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'll see other people post in the same way that we do, and like I can see it. So they're obviously not considered spam. We've emailed Facebook like probably like 4 or 5 times now,
asking like, "Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, is there any way like we can fix this? Is there any way we can go about it?" No response. We've like removed ourselves from the group, then made a request to be re-accepted. Still doesn't work. So we're just kind of at a loss right now, to be honest.
But as much as we're at a loss, it hasn't like ruined our business.
No.
And like that's because we've been wise enough to realize like, hey, like we have to spread the risk.
Yeah.
We cannot only depend upon Facebook. Imagine if Facebook was the only market that we were distributing and selling clothing through. Our business would have fallen.
Yeah.
Would have fallen down so much, you know what I mean? So it's nice that we at least have the awareness to understand like, hey, like we can't only depend on this one avenue. We have to like, again, spread the risk on Let Go, do Instagram, you know, do YouTube, do so many different things. Because with all those variations, it gives us more of a possibility for success.
And less of a possibility for failure.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But I think it's good that we're doing that as well. It's like what we talked about, like we should have more than one supplier for like the hype stuff that we have, you know? We should have more than one supplier for the vintage stuff that we get and everything, you know what I mean?
Which we do. But I think like, and like I feel like there's just a natural instinct to be like, I want to feel secure. So for me, it's like, okay, this is working out. We have tons of Off-White coming in, but what happens when
Off-White isn't popular anymore?
No, not even that, but yeah, to a certain extent that as well. What happens if like that supplier is sold out of everything and we have an event coming up in 2 weeks? You know, we need to have another option just in case as like a backup for that possibility, you know what I mean? And then the same thing with Off-White. I feel like I'm constantly like, my subconscious mind is like constantly just like twirling, trying to figure out like what's the next thing, because like trends are trends, they only last for so long, right?
Yeah.
So like everything's gonna have an expiry date, so I'm constantly thinking, okay, like what's coming next? But I think like when it starts to dwindle down, we'll know. Yeah, because you have to look at the numbers. I think right now we're at a high point when it comes to like vintage and the high clothing. Yeah.
Because if you look at our accounting numbers, since like January, everything has gone up, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like vintage is a little bit more of a staple. Just because like there's been a whole vintage community around before we started our business.
Yeah, and the thing about vintage too, it encompasses so many different groups and so many people as well.
And there's so many different types of vintage as well. Like there's like it basically like anything. There could be vintage from the 1930s. There could be vintage from the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and there's like 90s streetwear, even like early 2000s. Like think about it. In like the next couple of years, like 1990s is gonna be 30,000. Not 30,000.
Imagine.
30 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like.
Oh, I'm almost 30. Oh.
It's okay. So like the idea of vintage is like constantly changing. So I feel like the timestamp on vintage isn't as like what's the word? Timestamp on vintage isn't as like indefinite or definite, I guess I would say. It isn't as like, okay, this is where it ends. Whereas like hype stuff, like Off-White, Supreme, Babe, I feel like that is more of like an even flow type of thing, where there's going to be a point where it's at the height, and then there's going to be a point where it's like, I don't really care for that anymore, and then maybe they'll have like a resurgence like Babe did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but I think as a whole, when it comes to like these type of like trends in fashion, because essentially that's how I see them. I see them more so as like trends and fashion, not necessarily style.
Yeah.
Over time, the pie chart of like these hype brands, they're gonna get smaller. They're not gonna totally disappear.
No.
Let's say there are 1 million people interested in it. Maybe it's gonna do it down to 500,000. Then 20,000. Like, you know what I mean? I think there's still gonna be in a community that's always gonna be interested around it, but it won't be as popular as it is now. And like sometimes I get like so anxious about that idea. It's like, yo, like when is this gonna die? What's gonna happen when we have like 80 pieces of Off-White and we cannot get rid of any of it? You know what I mean? What's gonna happen when we have 100 pieces of 90s vintage and we can't get rid of any of it? You know what I mean? So it's always in the back of my mind, because like we have to be prepared for things like that, right? And be ready to like, hey, like, should we change up our distribution strategy? Should we like maybe just like give the clothes away? Like, what are we gonna do when certain things like that happen?
But I think we would be conscious of that before it happens, and we wouldn't have that much inventory sitting on hand.
Yeah, I would hope so, man.
Well,
remember those London fog jackets?
Well, don't hope. Don't.
Remember those London fog jackets?
If you want a London fog jacket, let us know. You'll get
for
one
the low.
No, for free.
For the low,
you can take it.
So it's one thing I realized.
No, but back to what you were saying before. Don't say I would hope that, you know, at the end of the day, like all the things that we're doing, we're preparing for that day so that we're prepared for it. So that we're not negatively affected when the market does change, and we do have to adapt. We know how to adapt. We know how to change our strategies and our tactics to cater towards whatever people want. So like, I don't think that would be an issue for us. We just need to get it while it's still hot. And we're in the market, so there's no reason why we wouldn't see that.
Yeah, and we definitely would, man. We definitely would. And I think like that's what I like about us so much. I remember we've had conversation off camera, and it's like I think one of our major strengths is pattern recognition. We're able to see what's happening around us, really like analyze it, and then really like extrapolate it into our own business and see how it actually works for us and everything, you know? And I think that's important. I think that's one tool every business should have. It's like, realize what's going on, use it to your advantage, take it from there.
And I think we do that all the time. We do that so often. Like even when I go to the warehouses.
We started this podcast.
Yeah,
like, there's a reason why we started this podcast, right?
No, for sure. And like even when I go to the warehouses to pick and stuff, like I know what to pick because I know what's good and I know what's hot and I know what people want and what people like. So it's like I feel like we're always like conscious of trends, and we're always conscious of like what are people interested at that particular point in time. And that's something that we've gotten, like when we first started, we weren't that good at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we were basically picking for our own taste.
Yeah, that was where the problem was.
Yeah,
that's where the disconnect was.
Exactly. We were picking for like what are the things that we like as opposed to what are the things that our demographic likes or our market likes. You know what I mean? So I think like we've had a really good we have a better understanding of that, which is why like we know what to buy now. Like we know that like Windbreakers do really well for us at pretty much every event that we go
despite
to.
if it's a hype event or a vintage event.
Yeah, regardless, they do really well at.
Why do you think that is though? Why do you think like the Windbreaker is something that's like so transcendent from different styles, different eras, and different events?
One, I think it's like it's season friendly. So like you can wear a Windbreaker in the fall, you can wear a Windbreaker in the summertime, you can wear a Windbreaker in like the winter time if you're like inside or something like that. Like you can pretty much wear it like at any season. And like I feel like a Windbreaker is also like a really like true staple of like vintage. You know what I mean? Like a Windbreaker is something that like you could look at a Windbreaker and be like, hey, like that's definitely from like the 1990s. Whereas like let's say like a Levi's denim jacket, which like still does really well, it's like a staple, but you won't necessarily know like whether it's new or whether it's old. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
So I think like a Windbreaker is kind of like that in your face, like yeah, this is vintage, you know.
And I think why the Windbreaker does so well, like just the silhouette and the structure of it hasn't really changed from like the 80s up until now. But when you look at something like jeans, where they fit the way they were in the 90s, extremely baggy, extremely long, and things like that, but with the Windbreaker, it's had a consistent silhouette that everyone's been able to enjoy. And also, it's like what you're saying, it's so multifunctional, you know what I mean? You can wear it to the gym, you can wear it to go out with friends, you can wear it virtually over anything, you know? You can wear it to work, you can wear it out for drinks, you know? So it's able to like go from different social settings so smoothly and effortlessly.
Yeah.
And also the thing too I really like about the Windbreaker, it has the ability to like be so different. You can have a Windbreaker with a hood, that you can have one without a hood that can be like a bit more dressy, one that's a bit more sporty, you know?
Yeah.
So you can like really play around with the style and everything.
And also like the patterns too. Like you can have one that's more simple, you can have one that's a little more extravagant, little like different tricolors and stuff like that. So it kind of like can speak to a lot of different styles, which is why I think like the Windbreaker pretty much always does really, really well. And it's also like unisex.
That too, and also it's not age specific. For instance, if you think about a suit, you generally think about an older person, like, you know what I mean? Someone more like age and a bit more character or whatever. But the Windbreaker, I've seen every demographic, every race, every sex wear a Windbreaker.
No, that's
like, you know what I mean? Like skirts. I'm not wearing a skirt. I'm sorry, I'm not wearing an A-line skirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, but for me, I think like some of my favorite brands when it comes to like Windbreakers, when it comes to like just any type of clothing at all, I've always been like a huge fan of Adidas. And like a huge fan of Adidas and like sports attire and stuff like that. So it's like I've realized that a lot of the demographic that we deal with, they like Adidas. They like the 3 stripes.
Yeah.
And also Levi's jackets. I think that's a brand that's like works really well with the older and the younger demographic
like
as well.
If you're getting it, for me, like personally, if I'm picking a denim jacket, it has to be Levi's. It's not. I literally
maybe guess. Maybe guess.
No, like
maybe
I literally
guess.
like maybe like a Calvin Klein jeans, but not often. It literally has to be Levi's, and it has to have the leather tab in the back and the tag on the front. Like if not,
you're really superficial, eh?
No, I don't. I'm marketing sometimes, so we're just catering to that.
Yeah, that's so true. Some brands that I really like too that like started as a business that introduced me to, that made me like just open my mind more. Carhartt. I'm someone that really likes well structured, classic pieces. That I'm 28 now. When I'm 40, there's a potential I'll still wear.
Yeah.
I don't see myself wearing this jersey swagging out the way I am when I'm 50, when I'm 45, you know what I mean? Maybe I will, but I highly doubt it.
Your dad bod?
Yeah, you know what I mean? No, I'm gonna be fit forever, don't do that. So the denim jacket, I could always see myself wearing it. Even when I was in high school, I'm rocking a denim jacket. You can't go wrong with denim. And then the Carhartt jacket, I really like it, just the silhouette. And again, it's just like great quality, great structure. And it's just classic. It's just classic. I'm not really big on branding and like things that are overly outlandish. So to have like a nice, quiet, simple piece, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, same. I feel like a lot of the brands that do well, it's mainly because of the quality. Like, yeah, like people like Levi's jackets because it's Levi's, but like when you pick up a Levi's jacket, you can literally feel the quality of the denim.
I know it's gonna sound weird, but the one thing I love about the Levi's, especially like a really, really good made one, is when you try to unbutton it. And it's so hard to unbutton. It's like it's so stiff. It's like but that's when you know it's like it's made really, really well.
I actually like when I first started picking, I used to pick with like gloves on. So I'd have gloves and I'd be picking. But then I started picking with bare hands, specifically because of Levi's. Because I felt that it was faster, because when I was picking, I would feel the quality of the denim, and like 9 times out of 10, I'd pick it up and it'd be a Levi's.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And I like it how we've become so good at like identifying quality and also identifying authenticity. Because I could literally look at like a vintage Tommy shirt and be like, yeah, that's fake.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't real.
Yeah, no,
right,
there's been like numerous times where like I've seen people wearing stuff and I can tell from like a good distance away whether it's real or fake.
Yeah, definitely. But again, I think it just goes with us like figuring patterns, realizing and analyzing things and be like, hold on, something's a bit off about that. Like, what's going on here and everything, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun though, man. Like, I do enjoy thrifting because like the whole nostalgia aspect of when it comes to thrifting, it's nice to be like, oh crap, like I used to have this when I was a kid, or like someone else can like really appreciate it, even if I may not like it. Bring value to the client and like, you know, give them some happy memories.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I like it because I feel like I'm literally digging for treasure.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm like like searching for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and you know, I'm just like digging through and I find the Levi's and it's like, I don't know.
No, definitely.
I'm being really dramatic right now.
And speaking of pot of golds, I think we've now come to the end of our podcast. Is there any last words or any last things maybe you want to add in before we say farewell?
What does that have to do with the pot of gold?
Because with the end of the rainbow, we reached to the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Babe, I'm a journalist, eh?
Okay.
That segue that I did was really good. Though. You didn't get it, man.
No, if I didn't get it, it wasn't good.
You're not good, man. You're not good. Because you don't pay attention, you know.
Okay, whatever.
Don't worry about Claude, guys. She's a hater. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us and listening to us blabber on. Please like and share so we know that
you care.
Okay, guys, so until next time, peace. You're a hater, man.